You mentioned about the power of influence, and that's an area I wanted to explore.
Why?
For a number of reasons. You said the greatest gift we could offer someone is to think about them in a positive way. And I know that has an influence when we're not in their presence.
But that's the reason we ask the question, what makes you want to positively influence someone?
Well,
we really want to know.
Okay, part of it is I'm just curious what happens if I think about someone negatively or positively.
But why do you want to positively influence someone? Well, we'll tell you.
Okay.
It is because they are you and you are them. It is because we are all extensions of the same. And when we, from our place of being in vibrational alignment with Source, radiate that pure vibration, then the potential of others aligning with it is greater, and the whole is added to in a more powerful way. But the reason we ask the question is because everyone has access to the same stream. In other words, it's not necessary for your influence. You do not need to be the one who influences, because the stream influences. We're going to hear you fully, but we just want to get this basis laid, because we think as it settles into you, more will occur to you from the questions that you have fashioned. So let's say that you are feeling really good. You ask us, how are we? Someone did, and we are extremely well. We are in this place of feeling wonderful. It is not even possible to find words to explain in the physical format what it feels like to be in the vibrational place of non-resistance and complete allowance that we are. So let's say that here you are as a teacher and you're feeling wonderful, and someone not feeling so wonderful is plying you with questions, asking for your assistance. What we are wanting you to realize is that as you are here vibrating in your ecstasy and they are here vibrating in their agony, you are not the teacher for them. You are not the influencer that law of attraction will line up for them, because the vibrational variance between where you are and where they are is so great that something's got to give. And if you as a teacher are so determined to be the one who offers them the influence, then you're going to have to adjust your vibration into more resistance before they can even begin to hear you. And we would not do that, because we understand that in the greater scheme that there is always someone that is there for them. So we on their behalf would set forth the intention, universe, please bring them someone to help them move up the scale, and universe, please help them to feel better as they move up the scale, and universe, please bring them close to me when they get into my proximity, because I love this person and I want to play with them and I want to be of value to them. But never ask of yourself to be the one who is the influencer that goes back to rescue those that are at different vibrational frequencies. It doesn't work for them. They just resent you. It doesn't work for you. You just resent them. And help is on the way to them anyway. Speaking as teachers to powerful teachers, there is not much more important that you will hear from us than that your work is to maintain the perfection as best you can of your own vibrational alignment, and trust that this universe will bring all to the same good. You are not so special in your alignment, and they are not special in their misalignment. All of you are asking, and source energy is reaching out to all of you. Yes.
Okay, let me take a step back.
Yes.
That's one set of circumstances. But let's say I'm just thinking about someone, and it's not with the intention of influencing them, but I am thinking about them, let's say, well, just to take a real-life example. When I broke up with my girlfriend a couple of years ago, whenever I thought of her, I got like really angry, and I felt like murdering her. So I'm wondering if I'm thinking about her in such a powerful way, or my thoughts that I'm having about her, and I'm not anywhere near her. I'm just
your
thinking
thoughts
about,
are not affecting her at all unless she is equally angry with you and thinking about murdering you. And if that is the case, you'll have a head-on collision on the freeway, and you'll both get what you're vibrationally offering.
Okay.
But usually that isn't the case. And so as you're thinking about now we want to talk about something else here. it may not be where you think you're going, but it really is the answer that you're looking for. When you have those feelings of anger toward her or toward someone, those feelings of anger are your self-survival discovery of thoughts that were such an improvement over the despair and powerlessness that you felt before, that they were just the natural place that you gravitated to. And knowing what you now know, you can now continue to move up the emotional scale. But we so powerfully want to say to you in a way that you or anyone who might be in that angry place can hear it, that anger is not misplaced and it's not inappropriate. It was a natural response to your perception of what was happening in your life experience. And when you get that and you're able to accept the anger and feel appreciation for the anger because it feels better than the despair that you felt before, now you can move off of it relatively quickly, you see.
Okay.
So your question was, were you hoping that your anger was negatively influencing?
No. I was just...
So you've clearly moved past that.
Right.
Yes?
Right, yes. I just didn't know, like, if someone is feeling something so powerfully about another, whether or not that kind of thought stream is affecting them.
The ultimate in that thinking is, oh, you are living your life not in a way that is according to my religion, and my religion is right, but don't worry, you'll get yours in the afterlife. That's the ultimate of that. In other words, of people wishing so much that others would feel as bad as they feel over what they're focused upon, you see. And there just isn't any of that.
Okay.
It doesn't happen.
Now that I'm in a better place about her and about myself and about...
Yes.
And I'm thinking thoughts of appreciation.
Yes.
Am I in any way uplifting her or affecting her in my state of connection and my state of appreciation?
Whenever you hold anyone as your object of attention from your place of appreciation and connection, you are adding to their experience, to their potential experience. But like everything, we talked earlier about timing. If your friend is not somewhere in the vibrational vicinity of appreciation, then in the same way that you cannot teach someone from your place of appreciation who's in despair, you can't coach them up the emotional scale, because there has to be some vibrational similarity in order for there to even be any connection at all. So even if they are on the other side of the world and you are focused upon them, they must be somewhere in the vibrational wavelength for you to have any true effect. Or any, true is not the right word, because everything affects everything, any noticeable, distinguishable effect.
So she has to be in the vibrational range of my appreciative thoughts,
yes,
to be uplifted by them?
Yes.
Okay.
Somewhere in the range. And that's why we want you all to begin to feel the power and the value of understanding this emotional scale and feeling appreciation and making peace with it, no matter where you are on it or where anybody else is on it. In other words, we're not going to award those up in appreciation and passion A's and those down in fear and despair F's. It isn't like that at all. Where you are is where you are, and your understanding of where you are deserves an A. And any effort that you offer to release resistance and give yourself some relief deserves another A. In other words, and what we want most of all for all of you is that you don't spend much time at all, maybe not any time, trying to figure out anybody else's relationship to the scale. You give your consideration to your relationship to it, and you work all day and every day to find relief. And we're going to say something here that most may find hard to believe, and that is, in the same way that there is relief in rage over despair, oh, such relief, and there is relief in anger over rage or revenge, and there's relief in frustration over anger, and there's relief in hoping over the frustration or overwhelmment, and there is relief in belief over hoping, and there is relief in knowing from believing. There is no end to the relief factor. In other words, we can't even find words to describe to you how we feel. But there is still relief factor for us as we keep trying, as we keep refining our ability to focus more and more purely in alignment with who we really are. So here you are, source energy, focused out here on the leading edge, where contrast always will take you somewhere a little apart from what you really know. It's like the pioneer. It's like the astronaut that's out there on the tether from the spaceship. In other words, the further out on the leading edge you are, the more you expose yourself to contrast that could potentially cause some resistance within you. But the expansion of the universe is about that contrast producing the new desire and then the coming into alignment with the new desire. Now, what happens usually, oh, you're really going to like this, is that you in your generation bang around in your contrast, give birth to rockets of desires, but your generation stays so resistant that your generation does not receive the benefit of the rockets you've launched. But the next generation is born and they are not resistant in the way that you were, and they receive the benefit of the rockets that you've launched. And what we're wanting you to do is to learn how to, in this time-space reality, in this generation, in this lifetime, become the recipient of the rockets of desires that I have launched, you see. That's deliberate creation at its best. The contrast stirs me up. She makes me mad. The contrast brings forth clarity within me, and a rocket of desire is launched. And now I feel worse than I did before, because now I want this stupid thing that is nowhere near where I am. And now my work begins, because now I've got this goal. And what is the goal? To feel better now. What is the goal? To be this new person, this owner of this new intention, and to come back into alignment between me and it and who I really am. Did you get that? In other words, you're not ever going to stop launching rockets of desires, and your work will forever be to come into alignment with the new desire, and to come into alignment with the new desire, and to come into alignment with the new desire. And before you know it, you're so good at coming into alignment with every desire that what anybody else is doing plays a very small factor in how you feel about you or in how you feel about your life. And then you can start talking about your power of influence.
You once said that our power of influence is so great we could influence the President of the United States by our thoughts.
Or you could just do it the easy way and work around him. In other words, you all are casting your vibrational votes. He has no power in your experience. Don't tell him it will upset him, but he doesn't.
Just before the war started in Iraq, I was spending some time envisioning people wanting peace and wanting a world of cooperation and sharing and caring. And when I envisioned this, I got myself into such a place of ecstasy and joy.
You feel the sensation of that power when there is no contrast between your desire and you in this moment. In other words, that alignment is between your in-the-moment thought, your desire that was born out of the contrast, and your alignment with the source that is you. And where the other billions of people are on your planet is really irrelevant. It's like a flea on the back of a really big dog in terms of its power of influence.
So it's all me. It's all
about your alignment. And,
okay.
But now getting back to this question that you began with, important question about your power of influence. So when something happens in your world that hurts you in the way these thoughts did, and then because of the pain of those thoughts, you work to launch clear desire, and you work to bring yourself into alignment with those, that becomes a future probability. It becomes something that will be lived by somebody someday, and you lived it that day. You found the ecstasy of it that day, but now it lives as a living, breathing probability that others who find vibrational proximity to it can then begin to live. And that's what we meant earlier when we said sometimes it's future generations that live it. There are millions of others who are having the same kinds of experiences that you're having. Unfortunately, most of them are in the pushing against phase. There aren't many of them yet that have learned the art of non-resistance or the art of allowing, because they equate that with just laying down and being a doormat and letting people have their way. They don't understand that when you get into the alignment, your power of influence is many times more than millions. And that's why we say you have more potential, more probability of realizing your potential, your desire of influencing the world to a better place, than the president of your nation who is so conflicted where he stands. In other words, it's much easier for you to take a moment in time, and maybe even a week, and work on that and bring yourself into a place of alignment, you see. And so If you're not looking for the credit, if you don't need the plaque on the door, your power of influence is huge.